Yo, what's up guys? Today I want to talk about a new MMORPG called Apogea. And this is a old school fantasy hardcore game with really old school graphics. And it might not look like much on the surface, but there's something really unique that's got people talking. And it's the hardcore nature of this game from the start all the way through. As soon as you launch this game, there is a warning. Welcome to Apogea. Before creating your account, heed our warning. This is not an easy game, and it was designed with that intent. There's little hand-holding, most quests are hard to solve, and you'll be frustrated. So, are you okay with some frustration? You have a choice. I don't mind, which puts you in, the start menu, and you can start the game. And then, I prefer casual. Clicking this button opens a browser to look for casual MMOs. Basically saying, if you don't want a hardcore, challenging experience, don't play this game. And that's really special because lots of MMOs try to cater to everyone. And what that results in is watering down certain parts of the game to make everybody happy. Well, not here. And you've got to respect that. You've got to respect a game that sticks to its morals from the very start. So I jumped into the game, did a bunch of grinding, played a bunch of quests, got my main class sorted, and here's my overall thoughts and impressions after playing through it. The game is currently on a playtest, so if you do want to try it, you can go and play it for free right now. And there is no word as of now when this will fully release. So when I say old school, this is really old school. You go to create a character, there is no character created. There's no, you can't do anything to change how your character looks. There's no class selection here. It's all done in game. And then you pick a name and you literally just get thrown in. There was a huge queue when I joined, it took like an hour to get through the queue, which means there's a lot of people trying this out. And I thought this was going to be a lot more niche, but it seems there's loads of people playing this. But the game clearly has dated old school graphics. If you've played something like Tibia, that's the best thing I can relate this to. You can move around really seamlessly though with WASD, which is amazing. These things are generally like click to move, very clunky, but you can full WASD to move and it's very fluid. You go around, you click around things, everything in the world can be interacted with, so you can open chests, you can click on barrels. If there's an item on the ground, you can just drag it into your inventory, which creates some pretty cool scenarios. There's bags around and you can just like right click them, open them, rummage through them, and then take whatever you want, put it into your bags then in your character, which is kind of cool. And then as you open the map, it's like undiscovered and you have to go to the places to discover them. So you have no, direction of what you're doing. You can talk to people, and as you interact with them, you can say, do you have any quests for me? Do you have any rumors around here? And they'll say, oh, there's a farm over there that are having trouble with goblins, and it will light up a farm somewhere to the east, and then you just go and find it, which is a really cool old school system, which I kind of like. So you go down. From the start, you get a little tutorial on how to move around. You go down and there's like there's a priest, and you talk to him and you say, do you have any quests for me? And is there anything I can do to help? And he says, go and meet the blacksmith. He's in need of some help in the town. So that's where you go. You head off to Bastille, which is the first town in the game. And along the way, you quickly realize, one, there's a lot of people playing this game. And two, there's no real driving force making you do anything. The thing you just received isn't a main story quest of go hero, you have to save the world. No, this is a game where you find your own adventure or miss it because it's not obvious. As you head to the town, there was a guy at a construction site who said, help me find my lunch. I think he was looking for his lunch. There's another guy who's looking for his toolbox, and you go and find them. You might find some rats along the way, some skeletons along the way, and you find the thing, you give it them back, and you get a chunk of XP, maybe you get an item. What do you get? Who knows? You don't even know they have a quest because there's no giant quest marker over their head. You just go talk to a person, and there'll be a bunch of choice dialogues. You can say, are there any rumors you've heard? Do you know of any quests around? And upon going back to the guy, I'd found his lunchbox and there was no option to finish quest. You're expecting finish quest button or something like that. There's, do you have a task for me? What is your job? And I tried all the options and I couldn't get anywhere. So I just typed in the chat box, I found your lunch, and it completed the quest, which means all of these people have interactive chat you can do. Somebody will say, do you want to hear more about this? You can go, yes. Or you can, progress dialogue in a different way. And handing this in gave me my first level. It gave me enough experience to hit level 2. And with this, you see what the level up looks like. So you gain 3 points, which you can place into either your health, your mana, your magic, your ability, which I think is like attack damage, your HP regen, or your mana regen. And that's, there's no classes when you start. You don't pick to be like, a warrior or a warlock. You just are a guy and you can build out how you want. I wanted to try and be a paladin, so like big heavy armor and then some healing magic kind of thing. And I tried to put some points into like that sort of thing. Additionally, you then see the talent tree. So there's this giant talent tree, and I'll be honest, it's a little overwhelming because it's goes in so many different directions, but it seems to be split into there's like a rogue area, there's like a warrior area, there's like a magic-y type area. And I noticed as you go down the bottom right, there was this thing around the armor, and it was like heavy armor, then it was like magic armor, then it was like if you heal, you gain a shield. If you do something, and it looked like it was going in the way of some sort of like protective paladin type build. So I just went funneling all the way down that route. And then while wandering around, I found a basement, and there was a button and you press it, and I dropped into like this sewer full of skeletons, and it was completely pitch black. And the only way to light it up is to find a torch, put it in your hand and light it, which is, again, pretty hardcore and pretty, punishing that can happen. But, I like hardcore games, so I'm invested in all of this. Fighting my way through, the combat is, especially early on, extremely basic. You right click to attack and your character attacks. If you are stronger than them, you will win. If you are not, you will lose. That's it. You can get abilities and like spells and stuff later, but that's how it starts. If you've played like RuneScape, it starts just like that. So wandering around these dungeons or these caves, they seem pretty big. There's like skeletons, rats, goblins, lots of other weird creatures, and all of them drop unique items. So some will drop gold, the rats drop rat tails, the skeletons will drop bones, and there is no indication of where to sell any of this. On top of this, your character has a weight capacity limit. So if you fill your inventory with skeleton bones, you're going to be full on your inventory, and that's it. You can't pick anything else up. So again, it's really hard to know what should I be picking up, where can I sell stuff, and where do I go from here? So I just tried to, farm raw gold and experience, just fighting anything I can and picking up all the gold pieces. And then once out, I started clicking on menus and I found the appearance tab. So it's like an outfit tab, and that lets you change your appearance. You can change the color of your hair, you can change your outfit, and you can appear as a knight, a mage, a rogue, or a squire. Doesn't affect your stats, doesn't affect your class in any way, has no impact, just how you look and how you look to others. So I went for like a knight in like dark armor, like a black armored knight, and it looked quite cool. It's pretty interesting. I found a random guy in town and I asked him, where can I learn how to fight? And he directed me to a guy called Ulrich. Headed over to him and he says, we're defending this place from orcs, and there's an option, can you teach me the sword? Typed in the chat box, yes, and it popped up the menu of how to become a knight. This basically turns you from the squire class into the knight class, and that would give you an increase in like your ability damage, which is like your weapon ability, increased in armor, defenses, health, amount you can carry, HP regen, and then diminishes all of the other stats that are magic based. On top of this, it costs 100 gold, which was twice as much as what I had, so it was back to farming rats. A bit more wandering around, and I found the town. There's like these market stalls, and every vendor has its own, things it can sell and things it can buy. I personally can't stand this system, but they're very common in like these old school games, which means if you find armor, you've got to go sell it to the armor man. If you find a food, you've got to go sell it to the food person, and there will be people that sell certain things and buy certain things that aren't in the same place. On top of this, the town closes at night, so there are like day and night cycles which take a fair while, and if it's night, all of the vendors will go to sleep, so you have to wait. So I personally find this really frustrating. So yeah, I sold a bunch of stuff, and then I bought my first thing, which was like a new sword, which gave a ton more damage, and it was back to grinding rats. One thing I noticed was that everywhere you go, the rooms are very, very contested. Like if there's loads of things there, there'll be loads of players there, and your experience isn't really shared. So if they're like one shot in the mob, you don't get it. So I tried to find somewhere a bit more quiet. I found a room with some skeletons in and just hunkered down here and just kept finding skeletons on repeat. Hit level 4, I think, in here, and just pretty much tried to stay to myself. Met another guy called Osmosis Jones, which made me feel really, really old. If you remember that cartoon, you'll also feel old. And then headed up to town. With the money I sold like everything I picked up pretty much, and went to the vendor that sells spellbooks and bought the healing spellbook. It says you needed a certain amount of mana to cast the spell, but then you need a certain amount of skill in magic to be able to learn the book. I only had 1 skill in magic, so I needed, to keep grinding and keep going. And then that cycle just kind of keeps repeating. You go down, you grind mobs, you level up, you sell your items, you buy new items. And I bought a few pieces of armor. I bought some more, some more gear, and went and did a few quests. And then I went to this place called the Sentinels, where there was a bunch of people, did some quests for those, handed them in, and hit level 6. And I feel like by this point, I got a pretty good feel for the game. By level 6, I could put an extra point into the paladin tree, which was where like when you heal, you gain an armored shield. So I could now heal, gain a bit of armor, and I could fight like harder things. Although I'm going to keep playing this, personally, I thought this is enough to talk about it and share what the game is like. Because if you've seen this, if you've watched this, you'll know if it's for you. This is a slow, grindy game. When your HP gets low, you can either go to the priest and ask him to heal you, or you can eat food to regenerate your health. How do you get food? Well, maybe a rat will drop some cheese. Maybe you got to sell stuff and buy it from the vendor. Maybe you got to find a campfire and cook it. It's all very slow. Got to find a quest? Well, you've got to talk to people and say, do you have a quest? And then they'll send you in a random direction. Want to go to another town? You have to walk over there and find it. That is the game. Need 100 gold? Go grind rats that drop 1 to 2 gold per rat. Obviously, harder things will drop more gold. That's just an idea. But that's the game. It's grindy, it's slow paced, and it's hardcore in the fact that you have to learn all this as you play. There's no big arrow over your head. There's no quest marker over all the enemies. There's no like giant glowing thing telling you what to do. And from what I've seen, there isn't a massive direction of what you have to do. So you could end up going east and just going east and exploring that direction. Someone else could do the exact opposite and play a different game to you. And hopefully that gives you enough information to know if that's going to be for you. Do you like this style of game? Do you like this old school grindy hardcore MMO feel? Or are you more into, the theme park, the click to go in a dungeon, the flashy animations? What sort of game do you prefer? You'll know if it's for you or not. But I wanted to get this out early because the playtest is still going on. And if you want, you can just go onto Steam, click to sign up, and you can jump in and try it out before it comes out. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below what you think of this one. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.